Welcome back. This is still the big issue on TV3 New Day. In the studios with me is the MP for Tamale North, Alhaji Alasan Suini, and also the MP for Empire, so Honorable Davis Opoku Ansah. And earlier we're joined by Isaac Ofori. We're done with the conversation on education. Of course, we await the determination that will be made after the meeting at 2 p.m. between the teacher unions and government. But let's talk about Honorable Adwoa Safo, the MP for Dom Kwabenya and former Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection. Well, she's expected to report to Parliament today after absenting herself from the Lord Chamber for more than a year. There's expectation that her seat, however, will be declared vacant by the end of the week. As it stands now, majority MPs intend to drag Honorable Bagbin to the Supreme Court over the Adwoa Safo ruling, where he says that he wants to allow a vote to happen on the floor of Parliament concerning the Privileges Committee's report. Majority Leader says that is not the way to go. But Governance and Research Fellow with the Center for Democratic Development, Dr. John Osai Kwapon, believes that it will be an affront to good governance if she's not made to face the consequences of her actions. Take a look.
It's problematic when you think of the fact that we do have rules around absenteeism from Parliament and what the consequences are should a member of Parliament absent themselves without written permission from the Speaker, and then without also explaining as to why they've been absent. And so for me, what signal does it send that a member of Parliament who is expected to represent a given constituency can absent themselves for a year and a half, and there are no consequences to that? Imagine every member of Parliament decides that they would also absent themselves without a written permission from the Speaker and does not avail themselves to the Privileges Committee to explain why they've been absent from that law. Imagine every member of Parliament decides to do that. What becomes of the institution of Parliament? What becomes of the constituents that a particular parliamentarian represents? I don't think this sends a really good signal for the institution of Parliament and also for our democracy, but more importantly, even as a matter of good governance. I think what is still missing, though, is the ultimate consequences for it. We've not kicked it up to that notch to say, we've tried all of these things, we've tried all of these avenues. Now it's time to say there is a consequence, there is a penalty for this kind of behavior. If the next step is to put it before the entire House, if she goes back and keeps her seat and there are no consequences, then again, what does it say to this issue of absenteeism that keeps coming up every so often? And what signal does it send to other members of Parliament? And then someday, should another member of Parliament absent themselves from a very long time, are we going to punish them? And if we do, how consistent are we in the application of the law?
Dr. Sai says she has to face the consequences of her actions. OPK, at this point, what happens? Does it change the dynamics if she returns to Parliament today, the dynamics of pushing forward the agenda to have her seats declared vacant?
Well, I think my colleague Sule Mana Sanid, who went to the Supreme Court, is only engaged in exercising his rights under this constitution. I think it's important for us to bring clarity to this matter, and it has nothing to do with Adwoa Safo. I think it borders more on the Supreme Court interpreting Article 97(1), which clearly states that if you are to miss Parliament for 15 days in a meeting, and you are unable to provide provide reasons why you miss Parliament. It's important that your seat is declared vacant. And it is so because issues of representation is so dear to the heart of the Constitution. I mean, we all cannot be in Parliament. I live in the Dom Kwabenya constituency. And
so that's your MP?
Yeah, that's my MP. She's my member of Parliament.
Okay.
And for 1 year, I've not seen my MP. I mean, without any reason, without any explanation to the people who voted for you to represent them. So that, for me, is the crux of the matter. That is what Ghanaians should be focused on. How can an MP for Empire decide that I want to go stay in the USA for 1 year without explanation to my people, then it means that all these persons who joined long queues to vote for me to be member of parliament, I'm taking them for granted. And that is why the Constitution has made room to ensure that if you do not take the work that the people have mandated you to do serious, after 15 days of missing parliament, you ought to be punished. But it also provides that you need to appear before a committee to explain yourself.
Exactly.
I mean, on countless occasions, the committee invited her, she failed to appear, to the extent that they offered to do a session via Zoom. she failed to adhere to that. And today, you are in parliament after a year, thinking that people should sit in that house and take decisions for your constituents. It doesn't work that way. I am in parliament to seek for the good of my people and to represent Ghana.
But she's not explained herself to the Privileges Committee, which is what the minority is saying, that the rules of natural justice comes to play here. Once she's not been able to give them a reason why she's been absent, you cannot just up and, declare her seat vacant.
Bella is supposed to host the TV3 morning show. For 2 weeks, you don't appear before. Now, a committee is set up within TV3 to investigate the matter. You are invited to come and appear before the committee. You do not come. On several occasions, okay, so Bella, probably maybe you are not feeling well, or maybe you need some excuse, so let's do it via Zoom. Let your lawyer write something to Parliament explaining that you are unwell. Nothing. And you still expect TV3 to reserve this seat for you for that long.
But TV3 has its own standing orders. That's totally different from Parliament.
And
the Speaker says that, let us put this on the floor of Parliament. It is not the standing orders. Let's vote for it. Because naturally, when the Privileges Committee sits and they come up with a report...
That is not what the Constitution says.
No, but the Speaker says that allow us to vote.
No, but that is not what the Constitution says.
What does it say?
The Constitution says that if you miss 15 days, well, you need to appear before the Privileges Committee. And the determination or otherwise of the Privileges Committee, it is final.
No.
It is final.
Is it?
Does the Constitution say that?
Well,
is it final?
Just look at the Constitution.
Does the Constitution say that?
It never says that.
It's your interpretation.
It is not an interpretation. That's what the Constitution... Just look at Article 97.
It's your chairman's interpretation.
We're looking at that then, because what the Speaker said, and while you're looking for that, he says here that read as a whole, Article 97(1)(c) contemplates that a seat of a member which has been determined, for example, through an audit of the attendance book by the table officer or a member or any other person to have been unoccupied by the absence from Parliament of an incumbent MP for 15 sitting days without the permission in writing of the Speaker may still be saved if that member provides a reasonable explanation. Now, he says the findings of fact and evidence as well as the recommendations of the committee are then presented to the House of Parliament for its consideration. The order, mode, and authority for the presentation of business end of the report. I'm reading what the Speaker said, by the way.
No, don't read
end of the report. I'm just reading so that you can bring in the Constitution.
Is not the Constitution.
This is what the Speaker said. For those who may not have heard what he said, this is what he said, that the order, mode, and authority for the presentation of business and of the reports of a committee to the House is by a motion or a paper to be moved or presented, usually by the chairman of the committee, member or otherwise agreed by the House. And he says, see standing orders 53, 54, 160, and 161.
All right, so Article 97 says a member of Parliament shall vacate a seat in Parliament if upon a dissolution of Parliament. I mean, that one. B, if he's elected as Speaker of Parliament. Now, if you elect somebody, must Parliament vote on should Parliament now be put together to say that this person wants to be Speaker? Do we allow him to either go or not go? It doesn't work that way. And C, it says that if he or she is absent without permission in writing of the Speaker and is unable to offer a reasonable explanation to the Parliamentary Committee on Privileges from 15 sittings of Parliament, meetings of Parliament during any period of that Parliament, and has been summoned to meet and continues to meet, then certainly you are expelled from Parliament. And these are the grounds for which somebody would lose his seat. One, if the Parliament is dissolved. Two, if the person is elected as Speaker. 3, if you absent yourself for 15 days, you are unable to provide any reason for your absenteeism to the privileges committee, then you lose your seat. So it does not reside with the plenary to now sit and say that we either agree or disagree. This is the Constitution.
So the Speaker went against the Constitution?
Well, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
But I'm saying that Article 97 is very clear. And at all times, we can have the standing orders, we can have other laws, but this Constitution remains supreme.
Okay. Alhaji, if the Constitution remains supreme, why then are we not going by it?
Well, you see, I didn't want to get very technical with this discussion, but because of what OPK is doing, let me just refer to the Constitution and the standing orders so that we all get some education here. So 97 outlines how a member of parliament can lose his seat.
That's the Constitution, by the way.
That's the Constitution, 97, Article 97. So it talks about a member of parliament shall vacate his seat in parliament, A, upon dissolution of parliament. So when parliament is dissolved, you are no longer a member of parliament. If you are elected Speaker of Parliament, you are no longer a member of Parliament. That's automatic. If he is absent without permission in writing of the Speaker and he is unable, are you noticing the conditions there? The first ones, there are no conditions. Parliament dissolved, you go. Elected as Speaker, you are no longer MP. Now, it tells you if he is absent, it didn't stop there. That would have been automatic. Wait, please. I wasn't interrupting you, OPK. I wasn't interrupting you. I wasn't interrupting you, yes. But I wasn't interrupting you. Allow me to make my point. Please. I had so many questions you could have answered, but I didn't want to. So I'm coming. So there's a comma there. It says, if the person is absent, comma, and then it goes further. So, in the case of when Parliament is dissolved, end of sentence. When elected Speaker, end of sentence. When absent, comma. Then it goes to say...
But was she absent?
I'll answer that.
Okay.
Without the permission in writing of the Speaker. That's the first condition. If you're absent without the permission in writing, that's the first condition.
Second condition, you mean?
No.
First condition is absent. If you're absent.
No, I'm saying that, you see, I'm talking about the automaticity of the articles. When Parliament is dissolved, it's automatic. When you are elected Speaker, it's automatic. But when you are absent, it's not automatic. Because the first condition to meet when you are absent is your absence with the writing of the Speaker or not. That's first condition number one.
Carry on.
Second condition is, and he is unable to offer a reasonable explanation to a parliamentary committee on privileges. That's second. Now, even in that, the determination of reasonableness is subjective. But you are supposed to appear, that's the second condition. If you appear before a committee and you are not able to give a reasonable explanation, it's condition number 2. Do you understand? So don't tell me it's automatic, because in C, it's not automatic. You are given all the conditions, and it goes on. Now, let us find out how the privileges committee works, because it says that you have to appear before a privileges committee of Parliament. Now, how does the privileges committee work? The Constitution itself tells us that Parliament will set its own guidelines. Will set out guidelines to guide its own practice. Now, if you go to Order 164 of our standing orders, the Constitution gives us the right to use to guide our operations. 164, Order 164.1 says, there shall be a committee of privileges, which shall consist of the first deputy speaker as chairman and not more than 30 other members. That is composition. 2, it shall be the duty of the committee, shall be the duty of the committee by order of the House. By order of the House orders them to work. To inquire into any complaint of contempt of Parliament or breach of privilege or any matter of privilege which may be referred to it, and to recommend to the House such action as the committee consider appropriate.
And to recommend.
And to recommend to the House.
Is that not what the Privileges Committee did
exactly,
in its report?
Exactly. So what it tells you, what 164 tells you, that the decision of the committee is not automatic.
No, but
the decision of the committee, when they make a decision, they communicate to the House that this is the decision we have made for the House to approve or reject. But you see, with
the word recommend.
Yeah, it says
so that's what you're standing on. They only recommend.
They'll recommend to the House.
In the
they don't take the decision on behalf of the House. They recommend to the House, and the House takes the decision. That's what Article 164 says the Privileges Committee should do.
Okay.
Now, the 97C tells you that the person must appear before the committee, and if the person fails to give a reasonable excuse. Do you get that?
Yeah.
So if you appear before the committee and the committee determines your reasons not to be reasonable, and remember, determination of reasonableness is subjective. It can come to the House and the House will say that your reasons are reasonable. Because the 164 says that the committee is not clothed with the authority to take a decision on behalf of the House.
But in this case where she failed to
that is
appear
another
before
matter.
the committee.
That is another matter. You see, there's an important vote coming up. You know there's an important vote coming up. The finance minister's vote.
Yeah.
The censure, the vote of censure.
Yeah.
She showed up. When did she last show up last minute? When did she last show up last minute?
During
on the budget.
The E-levy or the
they
budget
knew where she was. They could bring her. They just didn't want to.
And you think
when it is important to this government,
you think that her appearance
Adwoa Safo told us. No, remember, Adwoa Safo told us that the president is aware of her absence and the president understands her.
Well,
the president has never denied it.
Okay, but you see, so she attended a church service where she was thanking God for delivering her family. So that means that whatever challenge that she was facing,
Bella,
she could easily have explained to the committee.
So what I'm
I understand, but for me, it is curious. It is curious that another important vote is coming up, just like the budget. And the government, the president who knows where Adwoa is, who understands why Adwoa is absent, because that's what Adwoa tells us, and the president has never denied it, has found a way. And remember, the president wants to save the finance minister at all costs. Adwoa is back.
So that's what you are thinking.
I am forgiven to think that way.
Yeah, of course.
I am very forgiving to think that way. Yes. So let us not think that Adwoa Safo is in this alone. How long did we hold her ministry for her? The president allowed that ministry to stay without a minister, and even till today, without a minister.
Eventually, he still let her go.
But it doesn't matter.
Is it true that
the president is ultimately responsible for what is happening?
I just want to correct my colleague. See, if you look at the recent Justice Abdullah case, clearly, the Constitution is supreme. Look at Article 1.2. It says that this Constitution shall be the supreme law of Ghana.
Of course.
And any other law found to be inconsistent with this, with any provision of this Constitution, shall to the extent of this be void.
Okay.
So you may quote Order 146, but Order 146 clearly does not even
164.
164 clearly. It's inconsistent with what the Constitution says. The Constitution says that it says you shall vacate if one. These are the conditions. You are absent from Parliament. You do not have a written permission.
They
of
say
the
you don't read the Constitution.
You are unable,
it's read in whole.
Please allow him.
It is read in whole. And the Constitution tells you about standing orders.
Please allow so that we can land.
And three, you are unable to provide reasonable explanation to the Privileges Committee. I mean, this is somebody who failed after countless invitations from the Privileges Committee.
Did you listen to her side of the story?
As
to why
in
the media?
Yes.
Yeah, but
was she really invited? According to her, she was not invited.
The media is totally different from the Privileges. But the Privileges Committee spoke.
No, and she also spoke.
We heard from Mr. Kweku.
And she also said that she was not invited.
And he said they had tried every means.
She also said that she was not invited. Why do you choose to believe the committee and not her?
No, I'm not saying I believe the committee.
So she says that she wasn't invited.
As members of Parliament, we all have offices in Parliament.
So where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Let the committee give us the evidence that the invitation got to her.
Where's her evidence as well?
I'm not choosing to believe any of them. But I'm just saying that it will be unfair. It will be unfair to castigate her because of what the committee says.
Okay.
Because I want us to get the evidence of how the invitation went to her and how she entreated the invitation.
My time is up, but I just want to ask, because of the statement that Honorable had made, that the
president is aware. The president knows her
has found a way to
condition.
bring
The
her
president
in,
understands
to add to the
her.
numbers of the majority so that the votes of censure will not go against the
And the
finance
president is
minister.
determined to
true?
save his finance minister
Is that
once
true?
again.
I think that a vote from Adwoa Safo is not really, it's negligible. I mean, you need 2/3 of members of parliament
Of course.
to decide on.
And if you have
whatever
about 80
action.
ministers, including yourself, who have already declared that the finance minister should go,
The finance
you will want to
minister-
galvanize all the numbers you can get
Allow
to
him
save the finance
allow him to
minister.
speak, please.
Is he not one of
I have
them who
just
has
30 seconds to
declared the
all I'm
finance
saying
minister
is
must
that
go?
if Adwoa Safo is in, I value representation. The people of Dominic Kwabena must be represented. But it's important for us to understand that we live with laws and must always abide.
So she should go. Her seat should be declared
I
vacant.
mean, let the Supreme Court decide. I would not. I'm not a judge. Suyin is not a judge. Bella is not a judge. Let the Supreme Court, those who have mandated by law to give reason in this matter.
You see,
decide.
in all of this, we should remember the precedents we set for ourselves as a country. For me, that is my worry. I mean, it may be, in the interest of the MPP today to change the way Parliament has always worked, using the courts. But it will come back to haunt us one
Could there
day.
be an interest on the side of the minority, which is why
Erika Moating
insisting-
case went before the Privileges Committee.
All right.
How was it treated by
We have to
Parliament?
go at this
Why
point.
are we trying
We have to go.
to turn the whole process upside
All right.
down just because
Thank you
we
so
want to
much.
achieve a certain
Alhaji
aim
Alasan
today?
Suini is the MP for Tamale North constituency, and David Sopoku Ansa is the MP for Empire. So thank you so much for joining us this morning, and to you as well for joining us and watching us. This has been the big issue. Let me leave you with this information before we take a break. And so Maha Beach Resort is coming your way with some very good news. If you book from now till the 15th of December 2022, you get to stay for one night and get the second night for free if you choose a standard room, and you also get a free airport pickup on weekends. All you have to do is pay 4,200 Ghana cedis for 2 persons and 2,750 Ghana cedis for 1 person. And your package will include meals, which is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Also free airport pickup service from Friday to Sunday. Remember, terms and conditions apply. 10% discount on spa services. Free upgrade from standard room to standard sea view room from Monday to Thursday, and that is subject to availability. You also get to catch a movie at the cinema. You enjoy the swimming pool, the gym. You can play snooker and volleyball. You get an upgrade of your room, and it's only available on request, but that will be at a fee. Remember, terms and conditions apply. So if you're interested, and I'm sure you are, please call 050-157-0684. Again, 050-157-0684 or 030-3977-773 for more details and reservation. Charlie Kromayeshi, go and chill small at Maha Beach Resort. Send them an email, sm@maharesort.com/reserve. On that note, we'll be back with some sports, entertainment, and so much more right here on TV3 New Day.